Today we're going to do another road trip. There's no railroad tracks today, but there is roundabouts, okay? You guys know how to maneuver a roundabout? You guys all have your driver's license, right? You guys have driver's license?
They wish.
Roundabout, the people in the roundabout have the right of way. So when you pull into toward a roundabout, you don't have to stop. It's not a stop sign. But if there's someone in the roundabout, you have to yield to make sure because they have the right of way, okay? Once you go into the roundabout, you have the right of way. So if someone is trying to move in, you have the right of way. But just like anytime you're riding a bike on the road, always watch the drivers, because most drivers are real courteous, but there's always a few that are not. So just always ride defensively, okay? So we're going to go through a couple of roundabouts. They're real easy. There's hardly any traffic on these. There's not going to be much traffic today once we get away from Rogersville especially. We're going to be hitting a little bit more back roads today, but we're going to be staying on pavement. But it might be a little bit rougher than it was last time, so just be careful. Now I'm going to go over maintenance. There's a couple of things that are real important when you're riding a bike, and we've already talked about it. There's a couple of things that are kind of crucial anytime you're riding any distance at all. One thing is, be prepared for a spare tire. Believe it or not, I already had to change a tire this morning because Show had a flat tire. So this right here is a pump, okay? I kind of like this one. It attaches to my bike, so it's there all the time. It's just a little handheld pump. There are different types, there are different styles. You can keep one in your bag if you want to. This particular pump works well for my bikes, okay? And like I said, it's always attached, so I always know it's going to be there. If I'm in my shop working on a bike, I like to use one that's a little bit bigger, just because it's a little bit easier to work with. Who's got my pump? You see my pump? Anyway, you guys, most of you have already seen my pump. I've got a bigger pump like this. Now, if you want to use an air compressor, you got to be really careful because it's pretty easy to blow out a tire because of the pressure involved. So really, you're better off just using a bicycle pump. Tools you need to change a tire. These are just levers to help you get the tire off of the wheel. So I keep those. This is a multi-tool. It's got different sizes of Allen wrenches. Most bicycles, when you adjust the seats or adjust the handlebars or adjust the brakes, you're going to need to use an Allen wrench. It's also got a screwdriver in there. It's just got a number of different tools, so that's kind of handy. This is a little wrench, different sizes. I know there's at least one bike here, probably several, that don't have a quick release. So if you're taking a tire off, see it's got a quick release right here, okay? Some of them have a bolt, so you have to make sure you have the right size wrench or you're not going to be able to get the bolt off, you're not going to be able to get your tire off, okay? Pressure gauge, so you can check how much pressure is in your tire. This is just a little bitty tool that helps you let the air out of your tire. This is a valve stem wrench, and I'll show you how that works in a minute. So those are general tools that I usually just take with me, okay? So spare tire, tire repair kit, okay? I always like to take a spare tire with you. Sometimes if you have a flat tire, it's easier just to put a new tire in, then you can maybe patch the old one when you get home. Sometimes you run in a situation where a tire can't be repaired. If you damage the valve stem or something like that, you may have to put in a new tire. So I always bring a spare tire, but I always bring a patching kit too. If you get two flat tires, you don't have a choice. You got to fix your flat, okay? So spare tires. I always bring a few assorted things. Just anytime I'm doing any kind of lengthy bike ride, these are just bungee cords, zip ties come in handy. I always bring a needle nose pliers. Sometimes if you're doing repairs, the pliers comes in real handy. I talked to you the first time about there's two different types of tires. There's a Presta and a Schrader. This is actually a little converter, so you can use a Schrader pressure gauge on a Presta tire, okay? And I'll kind of show you that too. I just always bring some tape. I got to tape my handlebars together, or my wrap around the handlebars are falling apart, so a little electrical tape came in real handy. Flashlight, I mean, it depends on where you're going, how long you're going to be gone. I like to have stuff with me. Every one of these things, if I didn't have, sure enough, I'd need it. Okay, and it's happened before. Anytime you're taking any kind of lengthy trip, I would bring a first aid kit. Inside the first aid kit, it'd be a good idea to have some sunscreen, bug repellent. I was riding Cade Trail one year and I had a flat tire, and it was right in a swampy area, and I would have killed for a bottle of bug spray. You know, when you're riding, it's not a big deal, but you got to stop. Sometimes you get an area where there's a lot of mosquitoes. So just, you know, bandages, bandage material, everything like that. This is chain lubricant. I don't usually take this with me if I'm just doing a day trip or whatever. If I'm doing a long trip or multi-day trip, I have to keep my chain, you know, in good shape. I'll bring along some lubricant. Snacks. If you're doing anything more than just a few hours, it'd be a good idea to bring. Make sure it's like backpacking. Always make sure you have food and water. So I've got bottle cages on my bike for water. If you're riding a trail like Cade Trail, there's probably every 10 to 20 miles there's going to be a place where you can stop and refill your water bottles. When you have a chance, just refill them, but also bring some snacks along too. Okay, a rag. If you're working on your bike, your hands get dirty, you might want to have a rag, maybe some hand wipes. Okay. Now there's some other stuff here that I don't generally take with me. This is a cleaner. I just keep this in my shop at home. It's a bike wash. You shouldn't really use like a high pressure water hose to wash your bike. You can, but you got to be careful. And the reason is because you get it in these joints or in these seals, you can get it in the seal and it will rust. So this is a foam cleaner. You can spray it on the whole bike with this, and you can use a rag to clean it off. And you can use brushes. I've got different kinds of brushes. Some of these are specific brushes. This is a chain brush. So you can run this brush through the chain to clean the chain off. This is a brush to kind of get in between the gears and different places that are hard to reach, just to keep it clean. So if you keep your bicycle in good running condition, keep it clean so it doesn't get rusty, dirty, it'll last a lot longer. Okay?